So Laura, where are we headed right now?
Right now, we're heading down to the main stage.
Four-time Emmy-nominated TV writer Laura Canty-Samuel gave me a private tour of UCB Theater in Manhattan, where her production, 40 Bits and a Mule, a Black History Month show, debuted February 6th. The show was for one night only, and I sat down with her on the stage comedians took just hours after this interview. So we're about 24 hours away from showtime. What's going through your mind in these final hours?
These final hours, I am hoping that everyone who says they're going to be on the show will show up for the show ready and that they've been selling tickets. We say, well, I say butts and seats because we need an audience to, of course, the theater wants to generate income, but also to get our message out. We want people to see what we're talking about.
The show's title is 40 Bits and a Mule, a play on the 40 acres and a mule that freed slaves were promised and never given.
Yes.
How does the goal of this show connect to that history?
Well, first of all, it still screams we have something that is owed to us, but this is how we claim it. Through comedy, I find ways to discuss issues of all kinds, issues that affect us politically, socioeconomically, and I'm using this show as a way to have that discussion. Like, we didn't get, those 40 acres and a mule, but what we can do is take the power that we do have through comedy, through word, through ideas, to continue to demand our, attention and to say, hey, we deserve these things. Last night I hosted a show here where I did a bit about reparations.
Mm-hmm.
I had people repeat after me. I would say there was very little diversity in the crowd, which happens, in improv and sketch comedy. But, I had them repeat after me, Black history, and I demanded my reparations. And someone they only gave me $1, but it was a step in the right direction. And it was a great moment and it was fun, but just being able to get in front of people and making them understand that this is a thing that happened, it has not been righted, and that the conversation still continues to happen and needs to happen is important, however we can do it.
So the show is structured 40 bits about 40 historical figures of African American history, which, as you said, is American history. Yes. Who were some of the prominent figures featured and how were they selected?
Okay, it's a great question. We had comedians submit their ideas.
Okay.
And me and my producing partners, we looked through the submissions and then we picked the ones that stood out the best that we thought would be staged the best. And some of the things that stand out for me is the person who was responsible for Obama's tan suit. That was a seminal moment in history. Okay, who was behind that actually? So we're going to meet that person. We're going to meet a zookeeper who kind of maybe accidentally showed up to a Black Panther meeting thinking the wrong thing. Just had the wrong idea. We have Jackie Robinson's namesake. Was he named after Jackie Robinson, the baseball player, or after Jackie Robinson, the parkway? We're going to have to find out, which one that is. So just looking at history in a comedic way, in a way that we don't necessarily look at it, to have some fun, but to wonder what those backstories may have been.
And it also sounds like it's highlighting names that people may have never heard of. I don't know who created the tan suit for Obama.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if anyone knows, and I don't know if they want to claim it, but that person exists. One example I have of a person who we won't be featuring, well, I may bring it up during the show because there'll be some improv between me and the other host. But we have Claudette Colvin, who was the first, person.
Before Rosa Parks.
Yes, 15 years old. How dynamic was she to say at 15 years old, I can do this. I can sit here and not move, and I can argue that these are my constitutional rights. These are my freedoms to sit here on this bus. Even though she went to jail, she was able, in her moment, to do that. She's still alive. And can you imagine that every year during February, she has to hear about Rosa Parks and what she did? It's like, I would hate parks. I wouldn't go to any parks ever. I'm like, parks, I don't want to know anything about a park because I did this and no one talks about me. So that's just, I think about like what the comedy could be in that situation. Like how mad is she? Is she petty right now? Like when someone breaks up Rosa Parks, does she just shut them down? I want to hear it. So
it makes for a great sketch.
Yes, so yeah. So we're just looking at all the funny ways that we can look at our historical figures and highlight them, but have a few laughs.
Laura, this show is happening as President Trump is rolling back DEI policies, as federal agencies are suspending activities and initiatives related to Black History Month. Why still move forward with this event currently under attack at the federal level?
Because this is the time to do that. This is a time not to rest on our laurels. This is the time that we should be fighting back. And people have to understand that. People have to understand that, again, DEI does not mean just giving someone a leg up or special treatment irrespective of their abilities, right, and their merit. No, it's just letting people know that they need to open the door to give people the chance to do something, the chance to apply, the chance to interview, whatever that is. Of course, you pick the person who's most qualified, but oftentimes the most qualified person is someone who you would never have met if those DEI policies were not in place. So now is the time to continue to have that conversation. A lot of people, I think, are in a wait-and-see mode. They're saying, okay, this is not exactly what I wanted, but I'm going to wait and see what happens. We went through this 4 years ago, so let's see how this happens now. Mm-hmm. But no, the playbook is different. They already wrote the playbook. In 2025, it's there. Things are happening quickly. They're moving fast. We need to stay on top of that and just continue in our own ways. My way is comedy, to have these conversations. But just to keep that light shining, to make sure that people understand that this is important. And if nothing else, fine, you don't want DEI, then fine, show and prove. Then allow people who you would not necessarily have seen before come into your offices, make their presentation to you, make their pitch. Let's see you actually stand up.
So comedians of all different backgrounds are featured. What message do you hope that sends right now?
Well, number one, that Black history is everyone's history. That is an important message that I think we don't talk enough about. People say it, but we need to enact it. How do you enact it? By also letting people outside of the Black community claim that history as a part of their American experience as well. Like everyone uses an elevator, right? And a Black man is the person who invented the automatic elevator door. So we all use that on a daily basis. Well, maybe not a daily basis. Maybe you have elevators in your life every day. I know. But people need to know and claim that. And when we can accept the fact that we are all here and in this together and have created what we call America together, I think we'll be able to respect each other more and appreciate each other more. And in regard to this time, when all of our DI, programs are being rolled back on the government level and in companies because they're like, oh, okay, so I don't have to do this anymore. That's essentially what's happening. This is a small way to combat that and to say, hey, you think that people were hired just because of DI? No, that was a way for a door to open so that people could see that, oh, other people are qualified too. Mm-hmm. So just having that be put out there in front of people and having people have to claim it and share that. And I believe that true allyship is allies speaking to other people who would be allies and saying, hey, this is a truth that maybe you're not hearing from that voice because it sounds too foreign to you, but let me say it in words that you can understand, in a voice that you understand from, this visage that you can accept more easily.
Will we see a President Trump sketch or a DEI thematic through line in the show?
No, we won't. What we will see as a through line through the show is a wonderful comic, Shem Pennant, who's famously British, trying to learn more about African American history. And so will Trump be mentioned? It's possible that in our conversations that will happen, but there's not a direct through line with that. It's really just a way to discuss history with someone who really doesn't know or understand what that history is. Okay. And so one thing I've done like a couple of shows, and yes, having Trump impressions a great Trump impression is awesome, but I don't want that to be the center of this show because I want to make sure that the focus stays on our African American figures. I don't want to undercut.
So many of the themes that we talked about, the tan suit, which was almost Watergate at the time, depending on who you ask. They called it COVID. These are real topics that you're bringing some fun to, right? And so what role do you think comedy plays in this current socio-political climate?
It's for the truth seekers is what comedy is in this current, climate. Comedians can say things in a way that your regular everyday person can't say for fear, for lack of clarity, or they have to go to work the next day. They can't, but they can repeat what that comedian said. Like maybe I can't show up at the water cooler and make certain jokes because, or for fear of people who I work with, their sensitivities and what that may do to me and my standing in that office. But I can surely go back and say, oh, this is what I heard at this show. This is what they said. And the truth will be in that statement. So they're able to speak that truth, but use comedy in their own way as a shield.
Like a buffer.
Exactly. And that's the comedian's role, to always be the truth teller. That's what I believe. Certainly we make things up, because it's funny, but also there should be some truth under that. I believe there's always some truth under every joke. Yeah, whether it's my truth or someone else's truth. There's truth, there's seeds of truth there.
Yes. We've been talking a lot about jokes. Laura, can you preview a little bit of one of the bits?
Can I, what? Not exactly, because I'm going to have all these other people. What I can do is I can talk to you. Okay, let's see. I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I'll just tell you about, again, Shem Pennon, who's supposed to be learning Black history. Because, no, I mean, we find it very funny that it's a great friend, but he's been here for a number of years, and it's very funny that he still feels outside of the Black community in many ways. I mean, he's totally entrenched, and we have other shows coming up that we're working on. I'll talk to you about those later. Those are amazing too. But there's still this outsider kind of feeling that he has being British and Black. So we play with that a lot. So I don't have, what I can tell you about any bit that I would have. So much of it is going to happen on the fly because we're going to be commenting on the people who we see. Okay. All right, there is one thing I'll talk about. Okay, one thing I'll talk about. Okay. Me and my friend, Pavaris Knight, another fabulous comedian, she and I, we are going to be women in history who keep showing up late to important events. So what I will tell you is that we are working on like CPT, which other people may call colored people's time, but it's really Claudia and Paulette's time. And we show up, we were supposed to be there with Rosa at the bus. We were supposed to be there, but for one of us, time is kind of a construct, and she said 6:30, what difference does it make? History is what difference makes, okay? So that happened, but also because of that, we, discussed how it would be so nice just to have like a portable phone that we could take with us, so if we wanted to ever contact someone. And so we were really the people behind, the creation of the cell phone, those kind of things. And then another time, unfortunately, we missed the March on Washington. I mean, it happens. It was the 28th, it was the end of the month, 31st. I mean, that can happen. Like, why did we look at the flyer closely? Cataracts is a thing that happens, and that is why a Black woman, developed a new process for cataract surgery. All of these things are interrelated is what we're pointing at. But yeah, so we have that character. We also missed out on voting for Obama, which is terrible because for the rest of our lives, these characters will have to say they did not vote for the first Black president, which is embarrassing. But again, you have early voting, you have regular voting, why is there late voting?
Right.
One would have thought there would be late voting. So,
Laura, you are great.
Oh, thank you.
Lastly, I want to ask, Laura, this show is for one night only, February 6th. What do you hope people leave with after watching?
I hope that people leave with a feeling of community. This is what I've told my performers. that take advantage of this opportunity to get to know each other, to create community. I want the audience members to feel that they're a part of this community, not just audience members, but a part of the community of UCB, but greater than that, a part of the community of New York and what New York has. I mean, we thrive on diversity. And I want people who leave this theater to say, I feel connected. I feel that I can be comfortable talking to different people who I don't normally talk to, or learning more about something that I never really knew or even took time to think about. So I'm hoping that will happen. So many of our audience members are NYU students, and hopefully they're going to go back into their world as leaders, and remember these seeds. So when they have the choice to choose, the discussions to have, that they'll not only feel informed, but feel comfortable. So.
Laura, thank you.
So I haven't been on vacation in a while.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. One of my favorite places is Hawaii. You've been to Hawaii?
I have once.
Okay, it's a long flight, right? It's a long ass flight.
It's like half a day.
It's a half a day. It's like 11, 12 hours. It's crazy. I'm in New York. I don't know where you flew out of, but it's ridiculous.
I did in New York.
Yeah. So the last time when I went to Hawaii, I had the wonderful fortune of having the only seat on the plane that had a baby behind me in the plane. And a baby behind me in the plane. And it wasn't just like some nice little baby. It was like this long-legged baby who liked to kick. All she wanted to do was kick. So you're not getting it though, because you think I'm talking about a little baby, little leg going. Okay, I want you to imagine LeBron James, right? Now imagine LeBron James.
I'm a baby behind you.
Bigger, yeah, exactly. But like longer. This is LeBron James' legs, right? Just kicking. And then stick his legs on little white baby. That's the kind of thing that was kicking me, this little mutant baby, right? And so this baby's kicking me, so I'm not long flight, I'm not going through this for 10 hours. So
I understand.
I turn around, look at the baby's mama, I say, excuse me, ma'am, can you please ask your baby to stop kicking my seat? And then the mother said to me, oh, I don't like to use negative reinforcement with the baby. I always say no if there's gluten. I'm like, okay, I'm about to talk to this damn baby. It was crazy. I was like, now I gotta talk to somebody else damn baby. So I say to the baby, excuse me, can you please be a good little girl and stop kicking my seat? That baby, like, she literally hauled off and kicked my seat so hard. And she said, no. I'm like, this baby goes, no. Probably no. I was like, okay, you know what?
And baby strength is real.
It's real.
Very strong for such little humans.
They are. Wow. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
Because I was like, fuck that baby. So I turned around in the seat, and then I pushed, the recline button, and I leave my seat all the way the hell back as far as I could on that baby. Because seriously, fuck her. The thing is though, because her legs were so long, when I pushed the seat back, it limited her motion. So she couldn't get it kicked on. And so then she was upset and mad because she couldn't kick my seat. She's crying. Now the mother wants to have a conversation.
Ready to talk.
Yes, now, excuse me, miss, can you please move your seat? My baby's gonna hurt her legs. I told her, I was like, no, because fuck you. No, seriously, because here's the thing. First of all, I was sitting in the exit row, which is first class of coach, okay?
That is true.
It is, I'm in the exit row. What? So this VIP, there's orientation, you gotta talk to Harper, you understand the Bibles tell people you're gonna help them in case of an emergency. The flight attendant came over. I was like, listen, flight attendant, remember how I said I was gonna help everybody off this plane? I'm not helping this baby. Fuck her. I'm not helping this baby. Figure it out on her own. And then the mother was really mad. She's like, what is your problem? You must not like children. I said, I said, lady, you don't know me. I have my own children. That's how I know I hate babies. I hate this baby. I hate your baby. I don't like my babies. I did. Sometimes. So anyway, so I'm like, listen, lady. Okay, I don't know your life. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know if you have a husband, a sister, wife, but there's got to be somebody who can help you control this baby. And she was bad. She's like, I don't know what you're trying to imply, but my husband will be meeting me in Cassidy in Hawaii. So I said, oh, so he don't make the travel with his little BJ. But yes, so that's how I am with babies on home. And then out to the